Well, good Monday afternoon. We are starting our day a little bit late, but we've been productive, as you can see. I'm with the new driver right now. We're doing driver training. However, come to find out, the driver was supposed to come down here to pick up the load himself. What happened though is driver didn't have a medical card, so I had to drive down here, but he came with me, but he just came out of here, and so now he does have a medical card, and so I actually picked up this load a little earlier this morning. Some pipe going to Connecticut, and the driver is gonna take it all the way to Connecticut now. It's kind of nice actually doing like on-the-job training, you know, even though I was forced to do it and I didn't want to, but still it is nice because it helps me actually train the drivers like the way I want it done, not just what I want done, but the way I want it done, you know? And so it's like I'm teaching him all the little things, all the helpful tips and tricks. And I am actually working on a driver training video, so then I won't even have to do this anymore. I'll just be able to show them the video. So I'm excited about that. I did actually just book a partial while he was in there getting his medical card. I ended up grabbing a small partial, I think 16, 17 feet. And by the way, helpful tip with these big tex trailers is you see the marker light? The marker light right there, that's the middle, 20 feet, right? And so you know that if it's about a foot past the marker light, that means that there's about 20 feet of deck left. And I think it's like that on every trailer essentially. But super lightweight load, rates are good. Rates seem to be improving this Monday, I guess, maybe. Regardless, let's go grab this partial down in Houston. You know, it's funny, the load that I booked and we were supposed to go pick up ended up canceling, and I ended up booking a different load instead. The other one was paying $1,500 and this new one is paying $900. So it's a deduction on the rate, no doubt. But that other load was going to Massachusetts and this one's actually going to Connecticut, right where this other load delivers. So it kind of worked out. You can kind of see it right there. See, it's like a toolbox. Oh, hold on, let me zoom out. It's like a toolbox or something like that, and they're, you know, $900, 900 pounds actually too, so it's super light, only 4 or 5 feet. So it was easy strap and go load, and the reason I had to get a strap and go load was because I don't have any tarps. I ordered more tarps, but I don't have any tarps on this truck right now, just to make it easy on the driver to kind of tackle one thing at a time. You know, I don't want to just like, oh, here's a truck, here's a trailer, here's a whatever. You need to figure out how to tarp, how to strap, how to chain, all this good stuff. So right now, because it's a new driver, I'm trying to make it easier, only strap and go loads. However, because this is my first driver with no experience pulling trailers, no experience hot shotting, it's certainly revealed a hole or a gap in my training. But in the meantime, we're gonna go back. He's gonna drop me off, and that'll basically be the 14 hours for today, because keep in mind, you can't drive team in a hot shot, and so while I'm sitting here, I'm actually on duty. So even though collectively I only did like 4 hours of driving today, my on-duty time is like ridiculous, and so is his, because he watched me drive the first part of the morning, and I am sitting here now while he's driving in the afternoon. Tomorrow we're going to be back in the office, back to our normal stuff, doing dispatching and booking loads and all that good stuff. All right, well, good Tuesday afternoon. I'm working on some Airtable features for the company, but at the office I ended up getting my business cards. I ordered these. This is with the new redesign logo and whatnot, and so the front looks, you know, pink, and the QR code so people can scan it when I give them to hire us for transport. But the back it's embossed, and it's like matte on the logo is like reflective on a matte back. So it looks pretty neat. If you like, I don't know if that shines in the light or not, but anyways, I think put a lot of work into it, right? Just to come up with the design for business cards. My designer charged $600. So, but still, it's like, and I don't care. He could have charged more because I like the design so much. But anyways, that's not neither here nor there. What's this Airtable functionality feature that I'm working on? So here's the problem I'm having right now. The dispatchers like don't know which truck, or it's a mess coordinating which trucks are needed to be covered next. And so what I'm working on is essentially, wow, you can't see anything. Okay, super easy. Just do a screen record instead, right? So I have a note right here and a date And then what I'm going to do is in Airtable, I can have the calendar view. And so then what happens is today's the 27th, and right here you can see Sam is empty now. Manny needs a load to Texas, right? And so it's like, then tomorrow we'll have these other two drivers, Brandon and Broderick. One's delivering, and he'll probably need a load, and the other one is unloading his couple partials, or 3 partials, I think. And then on Thursday, we have another driver. And so it's like, because of Airtable, it has all these different views down here. You can basically use which view you want. And I'm just putting this view, embedding it on my website. And so now whenever the dispatcher logs in, he can go like, okay, today's Tuesday, we have these trucks to cover. And if these trucks don't get covered, then I will change the date, or I'll probably have a form where they can update the date or something like that. Anyways, long story short is it's a work in progress, and that's what I'm going to be working on for the rest of the day, for the rest of the afternoon. But other than that, the driver, Bakari, is doing good. I called him earlier, so he's driving, everything's going good. So, I was nervous, first driver that without experience, like I mentioned several times, and he flew in on a short notice, so it was really exciting. I was really pumped that somebody would do that, but still, it's like I'm nervous as a business owner, because one accident into some of these newer semi trucks, like the new semi trucks, the brand new ones, we're talking like the 2020, 2021, like those semi trucks, the Cascadias or the Volvos. I mean, headlights are like $2,000 over their bumpers, not to mention the delay. It's like if you hit a hood, they're all fiberglass and they're fancy now. So it's like, dude, you crash into a semi while you're backing in, that's a $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 repair bill. So it's like, I really hope you guys understand that, like, backing up is important, so please practice. I gave my driver 2 rules, by the way. Rule number 1 is go for the easy spots. There's no point, you're not trying to prove anything. There's no point in parking somewhere that's difficult unnecessarily. So number 1 rule, go for the easy spots. And number 2 rule, which is obviously the more common one, is get out and look. If you're ever unsure, just get out and look, play it safe, be smart, don't be sorry. So I'm hoping that between those 2 rules, the driver doesn't have any accidents. But if he does, it's going to be great content. All right, well, good Wednesday morning. Doing a lot of stuff. Well, actually not that much, but right now what we have to do is run over to the new property, and there's someone, I mentioned in the video that I need somebody to level out, and one of you guys reached out, and sure enough, it's we're gonna meet up and see what the project entails, essentially. But yesterday I was sitting at home and I'm like, what do I want the land to look like? How do I want it to work? And so here, let me put on the screen what I kind of drew out, what my plan is, and maybe you guys could comment below, see if there's anything wrong with it, right? So because I'm in city limits, one of the regulations I have to follow, and I'm looking at my phone at the same picture I'll put on the screen, but one of the regulations I have to follow is a 24-foot wide fire lane that has to, get this, has to support 80,000 pounds. That's how much the fire trucks weigh. So it has to support. That means the concrete has to be at least 6 inches deep, or thick. Deep. So it has to be at least 6 inches thick. So I have to make the property with that in mind. And then another thing, I was talking to an architect, another thing that he said is like the first little bit, first 10 feet have to be like trees or whatever. Apparently that's also a city limits regulation. So you can kind of see that that's what I made. So right here, this is going to be Old Dennis Road, right up at the front. And the back is going to be that side street, right? That that you can exit out of. So this is what I drew. It's kind of to scale, kind of a little bit. I mean, I had a ruler and that's about it. So this is the fire lane on the left hand side. It curves like that. That's also where the trucks and trailers will pull in. The problem is because I'm 65 feet long essentially with the truck and a trailer, and a fire truck is not. It might be a little tight to do this curve right here. So if this doesn't work, or if this is not okay, then I'll just have to cut out the driveway a little bit wider and make the fire lane straight, so the trucks don't have to, so that the fire trucks and my trucks don't have to do this little S in the front and in the back. But I'm gonna go meet with the guy right now, and we'll just go over, see if he has any issues with this, because he's actually an architect and a builder all in one, so he might be able to give me a really good price. But my budget for like a tiny 400 or 500 square feet office and a carport and all of this paved and whatnot, and the concrete, everything, and to be leveled out, all of it, my budget's about 200 grand. And so I'm hoping that if I got the land for 180 and a building with an office and a carport and all this parking for 200, that's gonna be 380. And so it's like at 380, my payment might be like 2.5 grand, and it's like trying to find something to rent for $2.5 grand right now is hard on its own with the amount of space that I need. So if I can be in that price point right around 380 with a payment of like 25 or under $3 grand, like that would be a super awesome convenient deal, amazing thing. Because dude, it's just that hard to find rent for trucks and trailers. It really is. Look at this Ford in front of me. It says Peterbilt instead of Ford. That's hilarious. Unfortunately, that won't make your 6.0 more reliable though, my friend. How's it going, man? How are you?
Jesse, man.
Nice to meet you. Hi.
How's it going? Orlando.
Orlando? Nice to meet you.
Nice
to meet you. Okay, you got my picture, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you pull up the picture, the only issue I think with what I've kind of drawn out, and that was roughly to scale, by the way. Roughly, I used a ruler and whatnot, so it wasn't great. But the only issue is because they put this thing right in the middle, right? What I think might be easier is instead of having the fire lane curve like it is right here, what I think is, and it might be cheaper, it might be, or it might be more expensive, which is to extend this driveway, right? Which would that'd probably be another permit, but to extend the driveway all the way to the edge of the property line, and then it would just be one straight fire lane all the way back, and that would be really easy for my guys to pull in. Because imagine my trucks and trailers having to do that S every time.
Yeah,
that would not be fun, right?
No.
So but I'm sure, dude, it took them 3 weeks to do the permit in the back.
Okay.
Because they just cut that one in.
Okay.
That was part of the contract. You know, like, hey, if you guys could put the cut and sell it for the same price, that would be terrific. But so they did, but it took them literally 3 weeks just for that permit. So I don't know how much longer, how much more expensive this will be.
We'll find out. But that makes more sense if you don't have that curve.
Right, and it would just be one straight shot fire lane. And then I was talking to the architect that I mentioned already over the phone. Yeah. He said what we might be able to get away with also is because it would be a fire lane, it would only have to go to like 3/4 of the way.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because then technically it doesn't have to be a drive-through fire lane, right? They could pull in from the back or pull in from the front. And so maybe some of it in the middle could be just regular chip seal or something. We could save some money not having to do 24 feet long, 400 feet wide, or 400 feet long, 24 feet wide. Right. You know, so there's some options, but the goal is, you know, to meet the price point roughly or get as close as possible, because we're trying.
This is your guy that he's
You're okay. What do you think about my ideas?
No, it's good.
That's good.
It's doable.
You doable?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, fire lane extending the thing, that's smart, all good ideas? Okay, cool. So, dude, I've tried to think it through. I realize the property is narrow, awkward shape.
Perfect. No, man, it's perfect. Even the way you want to line them up like that.
That diagonal, you saw that? That's smart, right?
I love it.
And the main thing is it's on the driver's side, right? Yeah. Because you can't have guys backing in on the blind side because then they'll be hitting stuff. So that's why it has to be on that side. Dang. So it was very narrow, and you were trying to back up into the hole, and you scaped up a little bit. Darn. It doesn't look like it's bent, but so just a little scrape. Man, well, I appreciate you being honest with me. That's certainly appreciated, no doubt. But you know, just this is why it's important to be careful and to, you know, get out and look if you're ever unsure, and go from there. But you're headed back to Texas, right? Okay. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, then I'll see you when you get back.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man? How is everything going?
Everything's going good.
That's good. No issues to report. Truck and trailer are doing good. Are you feeling a little more comfortable?
Yeah.
Cool. I just want to check in, man. You know, you're my first driver with no experience, so I just want to check in. So that's exciting. I'm glad you're getting the hang of it pretty quickly. And then just let me know if there's any hiccups or issues. All right, dude?
All right.
All right. Well, good afternoon on Thursday. We're looking for a load out of Washington. Unfortunately, it's going to be brutal. I can already tell. So we got the load board loaded up. Calling about your load. Looks like it's the Lakewood, Washington and Clovis, New Mexico. Yeah, all right, let's lock it down. What do you need from me? All right, looks like it's going to turn into an interesting weekend after all. We are picking up the truck that had diesel in the def tank. Now, I don't know how diesel ended up in the def tank. I definitely know for a fact it's not my driver's fault. It's impossible to fit a truck stop nozzle into the def tank. It's literally impossible. So I think there was an issue with the tank, and I have the dates, by the way. Maybe somebody else somehow luckily is watching me. I have the dates and the locations of the 3 pumps that he filled up on over the weekend that could have caused this issue. So I'll pull them up here in a second, but that's what we're doing. I've just booked myself a flight. We're flying out Saturday, going to Savannah, Georgia. That's what the truck is at. However, you might be wondering, Alex, it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Why are you still in the office? Aren't you going home? And the answer to that is no, I can't go home because I'm waiting for the driver to come back and drop off the truck, because I need to take a look at his trailer, make sure it's good to go, and then I'll have that truck to drive home. So I literally don't have a car to go home on right now. And I've been contemplating looking at some local trucks, or like a truck that'll be used locally only. So that's going to be in the works too. So let's just wait for the driver to get here and then grab the truck so I can go home. So yesterday I talked to my driver and asked him, hey, when are you going to be up in the office? And he was like, well, my ELD only says that I have 36 minutes of drive time left. So unfortunately, I slept in the office, and I'm like Elon Musk, okay? To give you an idea where I slept, here's an extra mattress with a moving blanket on it. Yep, that's the comfortable Tow Piglet sleeping accommodations. So that driver will be here in a couple hours, so I'm gonna get some work done on my website. All right, cool. Okay. All right, driver just pulled in, so let's go talk to him. He's gonna be doing his week off, and then I just want to look over the trailer because Dylan's gonna be here in an hour to service the thing, because I think this is the trailer that had all those bad like teeth on that little spinny thing. And you guys are saying in the comments put some anti-seize, so on the new brakes that Dylan will be replacing, we'll be putting anti-seize. So I appreciate the suggestions.
Trailer disconnect light came on.
Okay.
Stop
Trailer
it.
disconnect light. That that might not be the wire over here. What it could be is the magnets inside the brakes could have gone bad, and so maybe they're shorting out, and that could cause that. But the plan is to replace the brakes. I'm gonna have Dylan look it over and just make sure they are, good to go. All right, well, we just got done dropping off the driver because he had his car at the yard, but then I think he had somebody pick it up or something like that. So I had to take him out to his house and whatnot. So, but that actually leads me to the question you guys ask sometimes, Alex, why don't you hire out of state? Or, hey, Alex, I want a hot shot really bad, but I live in North Carolina, Virginia, California, New Mexico, I don't know, like anywhere other than Texas. And it's specifically for this reason. Like, more than likely, you'll have to commute down to Texas and then, find a way to stay somewhere or something like that. So I've tried out-of-state drivers, and they're really difficult to manage. And so to make it easier on you and me, I try to definitely just Texas-based DFW located drivers. That just works out usually the best for both parties. But anyways, let's go back to the shop. Dylan's there. He has a little bit of maintenance to do on the trailers and stuff like I mentioned. And so we're gonna do that. And then my assistant's gonna come pick me up. And then tomorrow morning, bright and early, we're getting on this airplane. All right, so we got Dylan doing some maintenance on the work. I'm packed up, ready for the flight for the first thing tomorrow morning. Have a good one. too. Picking up my truck. It's a 2021 Ram 3500 dually. Yeah. Nice to meet you, man. Okay. How was everything?
Good.
Good truck?
Oh, yeah.
Enterprise paid the bill, huh?
Yeah, they did.
Well, I love Enterprise.
Yeah. I'm not going to say there was a little bit, because there was a bunch. It was so much that, so the DEF pump has a rubber insulator, and it had eaten the rubber away till it started like, getting all wilted looking. That's how much fuel was in there.
So how much labor? What did it take you guys? Like just one day, roughly? The whole issue was the parts were on back order, right? We had to wait for those month and a half, 2 months almost.
So labor
and then it took me a month to come out here and grab it.
Yeah, labor was $1,674, so that's about...
What are you guys at? Like 110, 120 bucks an hour ballpark? 150?
165, 69.
Gosh, that's why you don't take your truck to the dealership.
And then for diesels is actually 180.
180. Lord have mercy. Oh, there it is, that silver one. Nice.
Yeah.
I got 2 other trucks just like it. Okay, so
right
if you get 1,600 bucks or so,
Yep.
So 8 to 10 hours, so not terrible.
No, it's not terrible. It's just the biggest thing was the back order of the DEF pump.
Right,
to
the
be
pump,
honest.
okay.
And that's nationwide. Like right now, they're still on back order with no ETA.
Okay, so I am right now in Denver, Pennsylvania, and because I drove from Georgia to PA, I ended up going through Washington D.C. or in the parts where you can't go with your trailer. So I passed by the tall, spiky looking thing. Is that the Washington Monument? I don't know. I'm not good with monuments, okay? And then I think I saw the White House too, or some kind of Capitol building. But anyways, when you're not pulling a trailer, it's pretty neat to go right through Washington D.C. instead of around on the loop all the time. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about scenic stuff, okay? We're talking about this diesel in the DEF pump situation, okay? So that guy said that there was a lot of diesel and it started to eat away at the rubber, right? And so it's hard for me to exactly pinpoint how long the diesel would have had to been in there for that to start happening to the rubber seals or the rubber grommets like he was talking about. However, I did want to pull up all of the DEF transactions and ask, maybe you guys, maybe somebody you know, or maybe it happened to you, you were filling up during this time in some of these stations or some of these truck stops, and it happened to you as well, and I don't even know how to proceed, right? It's hard for us to pinpoint exactly which one. Is there any way we could sue the truck stop and get reimbursements for that? I don't know. But the going theory right now is, right at this time, during the end of May, it was that whole pipeline hack, and so it got shut down. And so I'm sure that, maybe they were trying to, and there was going to be a shortage of diesel, I think, and some of the truck stops had no diesel or had limits to the amount of diesel you could pump. So I'm sure drivers were like stressed, like those truck drivers, tanker drivers that were delivering fuel. So maybe some of those tanker drivers were stressed and they were in a rush because there was a shortage. And so what ended up happening was maybe a driver put diesel into the DEF tank. Now, that's assuming that the DEF tanks are underground like the diesel tanks are at most truck stops. Maybe the DEF tank is sometimes off to the side, so I'm not sure exactly. This is just the going theory because I know for a fact it can't be driver error. Like the truck stop nozzles don't fit into the DEF, so you can't, that would be impossible. And I don't think it's malice. I don't think somebody was out there putting diesel into DEF tanks because they knew that the engine or the DEFs would go bad somehow. So I don't think it's driver error or malice. So the only other assumption or the only other thing that comes to mind is somehow the truck stop messed it up, right? And so here's a list of all of the DEF fill-ups that my driver did. So, and we're going back to 512, right? And the reason we're going back that far is, like I said, does diesel really eat away? Maybe that's a better question. Does diesel really eat away at the rubber that fast? I don't know. Comment below. I'm not an expert in this area, so I'm not sure, but I don't want to pinpoint blame to a truck stop and then be wrong, essentially. So Pilot, Mount Vernon, Illinois, you can see a 1.18 gallons, $3.64. TA, Elgin, TA Elgin, that's Hampshire, Illinois, 1.6 gallons. Love's Travel Stop, Bidwell, Ohio, 1.86. Waynesville, North Carolina, 2.43 gallons. Now, the reason we want to pay attention to the bigger ones is because the DEF tank is about 5 gallons. And that guy said there was like at least a solid 2 gallons of diesel in there. A solid 2 gallons. So if you figure that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it's very unlikely that 2 truck stops would make that mistake. So I'm going to assume that 1 truck stop made that mistake, and it's more than likely where the driver filled up for 2 gallons or more, right? Because that's what would be able to affect it that bad. And really, there's 2 that come up right here. So there's a Pilot in Newman, Georgia, a Petro in Hammond, Louisiana. That was on 6564. And the reason 6564 is important because 3 days later, that's when he broke down, and then I had to fly him to Indiana to pick up the new truck. So the question is, could either of these 2 be the responsible ones where he filled up for 2.2 and 2.3 gallons? Could diesel erode in 3 days rubber seals or grommets like that technician mentioned? I don't know. The other one would be 2.3 gallons, and that would be Love's in Staunton, Virginia. And that one's interesting because that's right where that pipeline hack was happening. That's right where the shortage was. I don't think Louisiana, I guess, too. I don't know, you guys. I really need your feedback on this one. And then the other one was 2.3 gallons in Pauls Valley, Oklahoma at the truck stop. And I don't think Oklahoma, but that one, the thing with that one is that happened on 5/28. So it's like, can diesel ruin the DEF pump in about a week? Can it ruin the rubber in about a week if it's not made for it? I don't know. So it's like one of these ones for sure. So it's either right here. Let me drag this down so I can right here. Yeah, because this is 1.3. So let's figure right here. Love's in Pauls Valley, Oklahoma, 2.3 gallons. That could be the culprit. 1.8 gallons, Love's in Hazen, Arkansas, 1.8 gallons. Love's in Staunton, Virginia, 2.3 gallons of DEF, right? This is just DEF. And the dates are 5/28, 5/30, 5/31. And then after that, though, he was able to get, 2.23 gallons. And I know that's not the new truck yet because I already looked up his load. I already cross-referenced that with his location. I'm just not sure, and I don't want to say it's the Love's or the Pilot or the Petro or the other Love's. I don't know. It's really, really weird. But this Love's right here in Richmond Hill, Georgia, that was the last time he was able to fill up. I remember we were on a video call. Alex, it's not letting me fill up DEF, but the gauge is showing empty, or it's showing low. And so the gauge was showing low, and I tried to fill it up, and it only let me fill in half a gallon. But then I had him lay on the ground and tap the tank to see if it was full or empty, and he tapped it up and down, and the whole tank was full. And when they took apart the tank, I'll show you some pictures, they found a bunch of diesel in there. So I don't know if anybody is watching this that could kind of help me in this situation. How can we get a reimbursement from the truck stops for this? Because obviously it's one of these, or maybe you have better, you can pinpoint exactly a little bit better, or just let me know in the comments because I have no idea. But it really does seem like it's either Love's, Petro, or the Pilot, and it's in this geographical area: Virginia, Georgia, Louisiana, not Florida, because that one was, that's when he tried to pump it himself and it didn't let it in. So Virginia, Georgia, something along those lines. I mean, obviously I'm probably more than likely not going to pursue any of this. I just, you take the $4,100. Oh no, I have the receipt right here. $4,017.34. Like the guy said, labor was $1,674 and a couple $1,000s in parts. So, but they ended up doing a module urea pump level unit, a tube urea filter, tube diesel exhaust fluid, tube tank injector, and some fluid. Right. So really, I'm just lost for words because $4,100, even though this is an Enterprise truck and Enterprise did pay this bill, because it's technically driver error, or that's how Enterprise categorizes it. Like, this isn't a manufacturer defect. This isn't a RAM problem. It's specifically like somehow DEF got into the tank and it wasn't put there by the manufacturer because the truck has like 20-some thousand miles. So I will have to pay Enterprise back for this bill. They paid it just so that they could have the receipt and stuff like that, and so that they could give me the truck back, right? But I will be having to pay this back, $4,100 or $4,017. So I will have to be paying that back, unfortunately. And if you figure that Enterprise is 22 cents a mile, and for 60,000 miles, I would spend, let's do 60,000 times 0.22. So that would give you $13,200. So that means on the life of the Enterprise rental, I would spend $13,200, not including like insurance and stuff. So figure I would have to spend now $4,000 plus 13. I would have to spend $17,300 or so. So let's do 17,300. Goodness, I don't like crunching the numbers right on the camera as it's rolling. But 17,300 divided by the same 60,000 miles. That gives me a cost for this Enterprise truck at 28.8 cents. So unfortunately, I'll just have to take the hit on this one, and I'll have to figure that this truck is going to cost me about 29 cents now instead of the normal 22 cents per mile. So maybe I ask for for more money from the brokers just to help with some of this, or I only load this truck up with like a really higher rate per mile. I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but unfortunately in the trucking business, when something like this happens, there's just really no way to exactly know. And so often, me and other trucking companies have to just take the hit. Let me know, guys, please, in the comments down below what you think. I'm sorry this was a little long, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.